put these fractions in order of size from smallest to biggest. Now, this is where all the numerators are the same, but the denominators are different. And you might be thinking from the previous example, well, I'll just choose the smaller number and that will be my smallest, and the bigger number will be my biggest. But we really need to understand what's going on. I don't want to just say what the rule, if there's a rule or not. Let me help you try and understand by way of another diagram. So here, this represents one whole. This green bar represents one whole. If I start cutting it up into fractions, watch what happens. Here I've cut it into 2. So the size of 1/2 looks like that, half of the whole. Okay. Now if I cut it into 3 and I choose 1/3, then it looks like that. And if I cut the whole into quarters and then choose one of them, it looks like that. Can you see what's happening every time I increase the denominator? Every time I cut it up into more pieces? If you can't, let me do it this way. So the bottom one is cut into 5 pieces. This one is cut into 4 pieces. The next one I'll cut into 3 pieces and choose one of them. And the top one I'm just going to cut into 2 pieces and choose one of them. Look what's happening. Every time the denominator gets bigger by 1, the piece, one of those pieces, will get smaller. And that's got to make sense, right? The more pieces you cut a hole into, the smaller each piece is going to be. Okay, well in that case, that's going to help us with this. 1/5 has been cut into 5 pieces and we've got one of them selected. So it's going to be the smallest because it's been cut into more pieces than these two fractions. This one's going to be the middle fraction in order of size because it's only been cut into 4 pieces. And this one is going to be the biggest out of the 3 because it's only been cut into 3 pieces, and therefore each individual piece, each individual third will be bigger. If you're starting to see a pattern, the pattern also applies when you change the numerator, let's say from 1 to 2, but keep the numerator all the same across these different fractions. So 2/5 is smaller than 2/4, which is smaller than 2/3. Quick demo of that. Here I'll select 2/5, here I'll select 2/4, here I'll select 2/3, here I'll select 2/2. As long as the numerators are the same, you can see that the bigger the denominator is, the smaller the fraction will be because you're cutting it into more and more pieces. It sounds unintuitive to start with, having a bigger number somewhere meaning an actual smaller amount, but with fractions, remember what's going on. Think of a little picture inside your mind.